Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today we are putting together a little odds and ends video for you. I've got stuff stacking up over here again, as well as some announcements and some other news that I just want to get out to folks. And I kind of use this particular series of videos as an opportunity to just kind of talk with you and tell you things that are going on and where I'm going to be in upcoming events and things like that. And that is one of the things I want to talk real quickly about before we do anything else. It is that time of year again for the Barzy Summer Bash, and that is an event that I have been going to now for quite some years, probably off and on over the last 8 or so years, I think, something like that. I haven't been to every single one of them, but I've been to most of them. But I am planning on going out to California again this year for the Barzy Summer Bash. If you don't know what that is, it's a big event that's hosted by Stan Zinkowski, who is in our YouTube creator group. He is over at Barzy Industrial, and he hosts a big event every year out at his shop in Rancho Cucamonga, California. So San Bernardino area, Ontario, California is the airport just right there close by, 20 minutes away that you can fly in and out of pretty easily. Kind of in the outskirts of the greater Los Angeles area. If you're not familiar with it, you can look it up on a map. The dates for this year are June 21st through 23rd, that is 2024. I know these videos sometimes live forever, and if you're watching this at some point in the future, this year it will be on the 21st through 23rd, 2024. Cost to attend it, there is a registration fee, it's $40. That is for all 3 days. I will say that the first day is on a Friday, kind of informal, meet and greet. You know, there's some demos going on. Saturday is really the kind of the big event day where the raffles are going on and just a lot of people are going to be there. Sunday, again, is kind of a very casual day, you know, come if you want to, a little bit more laid back, smaller crowds on Mondays and Fridays. But that $40 does include all 3 days. It also includes the meals. They have the lunch particularly on Saturday. I know they have a catered lunch they bring in. It's usually really good. And they have drinks and stuff available to keep you hydrated throughout the event as well. It's a great time. There's lots of the people in the YouTube community and machinist community that usually come to this. I do not have a list of who all is planning on being there this year. If you go over to Stan's channel at Barzy Industrial, he will probably be giving some updates and so forth like that. I know he's already been posting some videos with a lot of the items that he's picked up for the raffle, which they have a big raffle. They give away some fabulous prizes. You can, you'll get, I think, a ticket or a couple of tickets with your registration, and after that you can buy some raffle tickets. But they have really just tons of really great gifts or raffle items that are coming in from all kinds of sponsors. It's a lot of times people go to this event and they get way more than the $40 worth of stuff and stuff that they bring home from the raffle there. There's also a swap meet that goes on, so people will be bringing stuff in and have some tables set up where you can just look through and buy stuff to bring home. It's usually a pretty good little swap meet, and if you're interested in getting a table, you can go check that out on Stan's website, etc. There's usually some demos going on throughout the day, and then also the opportunity to just meet and greet and visit with some of your YouTube creators that will be there at the event this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually going to be looking like taking a road trip this year. I'm actually going to drive out. Clark Easterling and myself are coming. Mike Wiggins is, I think, going to come with us as well. So the three of us are going to road trip across the U.S. and go out there. I've never done that cross-country drive, so I'm kind of looking forward to doing that as well. So anyway, if you are interested in attending the bash, I do have a link down in the description where you can go click on it and you can get more details and you can register there. So hoping to see many of you guys out there at the Barzy Summer Bash. Next, big major announcement, personal announcement here. I am going to be retiring here in the next couple of months. Not from doing YouTube videos, but from my real job that I've had, worked in the career in the industry that I've been working in for the past 30 years. And you know, I'll just say this, guys, over the course of my YouTube career, I've worked very hard to keep my YouTube presence and my professional career presence kind of separated. So there's absolutely no conflict of interest that could come up between the two. So I really haven't shared a whole lot about my personal job. It's not a big secret or anything like that. And when I get retired, I will probably tell you more about it, because at that point there will be no potential conflict of interest that could be going on. But let's just say that after working in the industry for 30 years, I will be retiring at the end of July. I'm very excited about it. This will be an early retirement. I'm really not old enough, I don't think, to retire, but there is an opportunity for me to kind of take an early out, get a little package to go with it, and I have decided that I'm going to do just that. And while I'm going to be retiring from my career, my intention is I'm still going to be working. I've got to make a living. I don't have enough money in my retirement accounts to just go sit on the couch for the rest of my life. So I've got to go to work, working for myself. And we're going to come into the shop that I've got here, and this is going to become my full-time job. And part of my full-time job is going to be creating content to put out there on YouTube and share with you guys. My hope is that I'll actually be able to increase a little bit on my video content and so forth like that. I've got some ideas of some things I want to do. Now that I'm going to have more time that I can devote to the shop, I'll be sharing some of that as we get closer to retirement and some of these plans become a little bit more finalized. But let's just say that I am extremely excited about this opportunity to be able to kind of try to make a go out here, working in my shop full time. Like I said, I still have to make a living. So I'm not going to say that after a period of time, if things don't work out, I can always go get another job somewhere working in my career or working in my, what I have worked in my career for the last 30 years. But I'm going to take a break from that and see if we can make a go out here in the shop. So more to come on that. But between basically the end of July will be my final day working in my real job. And we will be kind of doing some things. With retirement, though, I am also hoping that I can take a little bit more time to enjoy life and do some things. One of the things, my wife actually retired from her career in education about a year ago. She has actually gone to work for a private school here, so she's still kind of working, but a lot more flexible now than it used to be. But one of the things that we're looking forward to is we want to take a road trip together, the two of us, and just take off a couple of weeks and go somewhere. And I think that in September, we're right now very tentative still, but we've been wanting to go to Glacier National Park. So we're talking about taking off from here in South Georgia, driving up to Glacier, spend a little bit of time up there, stop and see the sights along the way. Probably the plan there will be to leave Glacier National Park and cut across the northern part of the U.S., end up over in the Chicago area just in time for ARNFest, which will be toward the end of September, do that event, and then probably come back home. So that's something that I've really wanted to do for a long time, but just have never been able to take 2 weeks off in a row just to be able to go do that because of the demands of my real job. But being semi-retired and working in the shop, hopefully I'll have the flexibility to do that. So wanted to share those two things with you guys. With that, we got some items here that have come into the shop, some gifts, purchases, etc. We're going to be sharing with you guys. So let's go over there and do that. So first items here in the odds and ends comes from my good friend Joel Havens. Joel is a volunteer, is actually one of our kind of historians over on the VintageMachinery.org website. I've been collaborating with him for many years now. And he kind of goes around and does the swap meet circuit up in the Northeast, I think a lot, has traditionally. He does some selling and stuff himself, but in my last odds and ends video, when I got back from the Florida Flywheelers, I shared, I think, a pipe wrench or something like that, and made a comment that I, had a couple of sizes I was missing on, and all of a sudden, Joel sends me a bunch of pipe wrenches, which is greatly appreciated because this is pretty much all stuff that I can use. So let's just look at these. First off is this one right here. This is really kind of cool. This is who's this made by? Little Giant. So in Greenfield, Massachusetts. So I think that's actually Greenfield Tap and Die made the Little Giant stuff, which is really cool. I just noticed that. But this one is really neat because if you look down here, you got 4 grips here And you can actually take this thing around and turn it in one of 4 directions and be able to use this as a pipe wrench in some kind of unusual positions. So if you got a really tight area that you're working in, you can move this around in different positions to be able to grip your pipe. Really kind of a neat design. I've never seen one like this. Let's see, we've got this one here. I forget what you call this, but this is the type that actually fits on like a valve or something where you have that big hex that you need to take off. These are really, really handy wrenches. I know we've got some at the museum that we use on the steam locomotive all the time. And again, not so much for a pipe, but more for, those nipples and stuff that you have that hex on. It's basically like a big adjustable hex wrench, but better than a typical adjustable wrench. And this one is rigid, made this one. I know they made these in different sizes. This is the only one of these I've got. This is actually something I've been kind of on the lookout for, is some of these, because they are so handy. I know we've got one out at the museum, or a couple of them out at the museum that are even bigger than this, and I would like to find some of those at some point in time. Got another one here. This one again is also a rigid, and again, it's kind of one of these that's made to fit up in kind of an unusual position. Don't have any kind of in that configuration. And then this one is one of these that you put the chain on that you can wrap around a big pipe or whatever. You got the hooks here that are adjustable, and when you cinch up on it, you can really like grab a whole piece of pipe or whatever. Very, very handy tool. And again, I actually got a really big one of these, but this is more of a practical size right here for typical stuff. Another one of these kind of similar to this design up here. This one is made by Lawson. Yep, Lawson. So again, another little handy one. And they also sent along a couple of little oilers. These are always nice to have. I got a bin that I keep these in, and when I'm restoring machines, I'm always needing that kind of stuff. And then we got a little drip oiler here. It looks like that one's brand spanking new, Trico. Never even been used. And these are handy. I've got several of these tucked away that come in. I use them all the time. So anyway, Joel, thanks for sending this stuff along. Very handy. Well, I mentioned a while ago the pipe wrench that I got at Flywheelers this past year, which was this 36-inch pipe wrench, and I was proud to get it because, this was a pretty good sized pipe wrench. And it is. It's a big pipe wrench. But we got that beat now because we've had this one show up. So this is a rigid 48-inch, 4-foot, heavy-duty aluminum pipe wrench. So you get all that in the frame. So a monster. And this is the aluminum version. And I promise you, while the cast iron ones like this one are a little bit more heavy-duty and can take a little bit more torque, these things are heavy. You get to these aluminum ones, they're just easier to handle. So this came from Keith Hubbard. Keith is a friend of mine, young fella that's from down in the Jacksonville, Florida area. He has come up here several times and helped me out with projects in the shop. He was up here recently, a couple of weeks ago, helping me with my jib crane. And this was something that I think he'd picked up on a Craigslist or a Facebook Marketplace deal recently. And he knew that I had a 36-inch. He said, I'm going to get that for Keith. So we actually did some horse trading. I gave him some stuff he needed out of some of my surplus stuff, and he gave me some things for me to use. But yeah, the 36-inch, yeah, that's the baby. That's the baby now. We got a 48-inch. So anyway, I know the crazy thing is I go from an 18-inch to a 36-inch. I still need to find a 24 to go in there, but I'll come across one sooner than later. In addition to the big pipe wrench, Keith also brought along this nice adjustable wrench. So this is a 24-inch, I think, crescent wrench. So another nice one. This is a good USA quality crescent wrench. I've actually got a 24-inch one, but the one I've got is a modern, probably made in China version. This one here is the real deal. This is a nice crescent, big heavy duty adjustable wrench. So excited to get that as well. You know, this is the biggest one that I can see that's being made now by anybody is the 24 inches. I swear I've seen a 36 inch or crescent wrench like this before, made by either Crescent or Wright or someone like that. I can't remember. But I can't find one anywhere. So I don't know if they made them at one time, they don't make them anymore, but I mean, I can't even hardly find a reference to them. Maybe I'm dreaming that they made one bigger than this. I thought they did, but that would be the ultimate goal, to have one of those one of these days. So if anybody knows where one of those giant adjustable wrenches are that can be had, let me know, because I might be interested in one if I can get one at the right deal. So anyway, Keith brought those, and so he brought a couple other little things. Let me show you those as well. So he also brought by some of these little abrasive cut-off cutting wheels. These are real handy to have. I've got a big angle grinder that those will fit on. And yes, the red Starrett box. And this is a tap wrench, number 93B, still in the original packaging, and hasn't even been put together yet. So just a little tap wrench. Still has kind of that cosmoline type material that's on it. So anyway, that'd be nice to have as well. I almost hate to take it out of the packaging. I think I'm gonna put it back in there. So the other thing I got from Keith was he brought along this magnetic chuck down here on the floor, which is an 8x18, if I remember right, that he picked up from someone down his way. But really what I was more interested in was the controller for it that gives you the variable control. Now, when I got this service grinder, it came with this huge cabinet here that's full of antique electronics, and this control panel here that mounted basically where that one is to give you the variable control for the being able to suck something down to it. And basically, this is a more modern version, still old, but modern version of all this, but you can see the difference in the size. And I was really kind of wanting to go to something a little bit more compact that didn't have to, all this stuff. I had not taken the time to wire all this thing up. You can see the wires that go to control this thing. I mean, it's just, there's a lot to it, and I was just trying to simplify things. So he picked that up, and I was able to salvage the control box out of it, and ended up with an extra mag chuck. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. This one, I think, again, it's 8x18, but probably be finding a new home for it. The mag chuck on my big grinder here is 12 inches by 30 inches. So, you know, I've got a lot of real estate on that one. But anyway, worked out a deal with Keith to pick up all this stuff. And now this has been reduced to this. All of this has been reduced to that. And we got an extra mag chuck in the mix as well. Keith, thanks. All right, next items here comes from Bill Riley up in Hageman, New York. And Bill sent along a little bag here with a bunch of end mills and cutters and what have you in it, just some miscellaneous stuff, as well as Brown & Sharp, the shop tool manual. And anyway, got basically a catalog, Brown & Sharp catalog with a lot of technical information in it as well. So anyway, some nice stuff here. I'm going to sort through all this and figure out what drawer and cabinet everything needs to go, so I'll have it ready to go when the time comes. But I got these used cutters. I mean, I haven't looked at them all super close, but just looking at them real briefly, they appear to be still sharp and usable. So I plan on using them. I tend to use them until I can't get all the good out of them. So anyway, Bill, thanks for sending this along. And I don't have a copy of that book, so glad to have that as well. Up next comes some items here. This is from John Sermons. John is a friend of mine from up in Middle Georgia, known for many years through the Georgia Museum of Agriculture. He used to work out there many, many years ago, but has continued to kind of support the museum. He worked in the restoration department and did a lot of really nice craftsman work out there many years ago when they were really doing a lot of the construction on the site, and moved on, actually worked with the Henry Ford Museum for several years, and worked with Willingham Sash and Door up in Macon, Georgia, making all kinds of really fancy woodworking stuff. John is an excellent craftsman, one of the finest craftsmen that I know. And anyway, recently he saw these little dogs while he was out at a swap meet or tool. I can't remember. I think they were at a flea market or something. And he saw these and thought of me and said, I'm going to get those for Keith. And he sent them back down to me through the museum, and these came over to me. So very nice to have a good selection of these dogs. I've got a bunch of sizes. I need to get all of them out and kind of organized where I know exactly what I have and don't have, but I know that I was missing some of the smaller sizes. I got a pretty good size of the more medium-sized dogs. I don't know if I have these exact ones or not, but I do now. So, John, thank you so much. Appreciate it very much. We will definitely, these get used quite frequently when I'm turning between centers on the lathe, so it's nice to have these, and thank you for thinking of me and picking them up for me and sending them down. Up next comes a couple of machinist jacks, and these were sent down to me from D.E. Haynes up in, Alabama, Tarrant, Alabama. I think that's up in North Alabama, if I remember right. And these are just some machinist jacks that can be used when setting up parts. You've got some screws in here that you can adjust up and down. These were quite handy when setting up a large piece on a milling machine or something like that, where you just need some support to adjust up underneath it. I use these quite frequently, and I've got a bunch of them in different sizes, but these are really nice to have. I believe that these were probably shop made, probably, I'm guessing, by a student in a high school class or maybe a college trade school class or something like that. These were common projects that were done by students learning the machinist trade. Basically, you would have a project that you could work on, and when you got through, you would have a usable tool that you could put in your toolbox and use from then on out, which was a pretty common practice in a lot of manual training courses back in the day, and I'm pretty sure that's what these are. Unfortunately, I don't see any name or anything like that scribed on them as far as who made them, but I'm nearly certain that's what they are. But really nice to have these, and I'll put them in my cabinet with my other machinist jacks. And I can tell you this is in a size range that I don't have a lot of them, so these are really handy, and I appreciate you sending them down. We'll put them to use. So before I put those up in the cabinet, I did take them to the wire wheel and just knock the rust off of them and put a little light coat of oil on them to protect them. So they look a little bit nicer than what they did before. Anyway, nice work, whoever made those. So next, got a little collection of tools that were brought down by Ed Fair. Ed actually was one of the guys that came down to help with our work day that we had with my jib crane couple of weeks ago, and he came bearing gifts. So we got a bunch of oilers back here, different sizes of configuration. I believe these are some thread inserts. I got some drill bits. These have some drill bits and taps in them. Some more oilers over here. There's a counter bore. What is that? Oh, we got a couple of drill bits in there. And these are screw starters, if you've never seen these before. So if you're doing like a flat screwdriver, you would put these in, and that would kind of fit down inside where the screwdriver tip goes, and when you push it up in there, it expands it, and it helps you kind of get that screw started if you're down in a hole or something like that. These are really handy little tools to have, screw starters. So anyway, a set of 3 of those in different sizes. So Ed, thank you very much for bringing those along. So I thought I'd illustrate the screw starter. You put that in he's worked with just regular flat bit screwdrivers, but you put that in the groove, and when you push that up in there, it expands it in that hole. So now I got something to kind of get that screw started. Once you get it started, you pull this out, and you put a regular screwdriver in there to screw it in the rest of the way. So again, nice little tool to have sometimes when you got to get one of these screws started down in a hole or something when you can't get your fat hand down in there to start it. These work great. So again, thank you, Ted. And in the department of shop purchases, I have been slowly putting together some blacksmithing tools, adding to my collection of things with the hopes of one day getting a little blacksmith shop set up that I can just kind of play in. That might be one of my retirement hobbies. But I just recently picked up this 200-pound hay button anvil down here on the ground. This is kind of an unusual pattern. It's got more of a long narrow face with a long heel on it, and the horn with this little clip on there as well. Anyway, picked that up from Eric Horner. Eric's up in Indiana, I believe is where he's at, South Bend area. He was selling some stuff. I've kind of dealt with him a little bit over the internet over the years through Facebook and whatever, and he had that for sale. And I also picked up this cone mandrel from him as well. So I picked up those two items. Paid pretty much retail for them. I mean, he didn't give me I won't say it was a bad deal, but I mean, I paid pretty much market price for these, but these were some items that I was kind of looking for, particularly the anvil or the mandrel here. These two anvils I've had since I was a teenager when I was doing blacksmithing, even back to when I was in high school. This one, I've told the story on, this was my great grandfather's anvil, little 77-pound made by Sodiford, and this is a 400-pound Fisher & Norris Eagle anvil that I got when I was in high school. And I've shared before, my total investment in these two anvils right here were $50. Let's just say that that one down there cost a lot more than $50. On average, I'm doing pretty good anyway. But anyway, just some tools for the blacksmith shop that I hope to put together one of these days and can get out there and tinker around in. And with that, guys, I think that's pretty much going to be a wrap on this episode. Glad to get my things cleared off the table again. Glad to be able to share some of the news with you guys. Again, hope to see some of you guys come out to the Barzy Summer Bash next month, June. Come be right around the corner. And really looking forward to being retired here in a couple of months to have more time out in the shop. So those are my two big exciting news items to share with you guys, along with the other items that we had in this video. And with that, we're going to be signing off. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Those thumbs up and comments are very much appreciated. They help with the algorithms on YouTube. So take the time to comment. Take the time to click that like button. Really helps a bunch. Hit that bell icon if you want to get notifications when new videos are posted. And big, huge thank you to those who support financially through Patreon and PayPal. It really enables me to take the time to shoot these videos. I say that all the time, but it really, really, really makes a difference around here. And guys, I guess going forward, it's probably going to make an even bigger difference when I'm pretty much needing to turn this shop that has been more of a hobby shop into an actual money-making business shop. So there's going to be some changes with that as I go into my so-called retirement years. But at the end of the day, my goal is to be able to bring you guys even more content than what I'm doing now, along with some other exciting new things that I kind of have planned for the future. And again, more on that to come. With that, we'll sign off. We'll catch you on the next video again. Thanks for watching.